VTSV Auto, how y'all doing, guys? I be happy, man, when we be seeing boxes and stuff like that show up, man. I be happy about a lot of stuff. I'm gonna show y'all a couple things that work that made me happy, and also product innovation that also makes our job a lot easier. So rust repair and you know, classic car automobile building, like if you could buy a new part, it's gonna be better for you. One, when you weld in sheet metal, a lot of time that metal moves. So you got to be, and then you're dealing with, this ain't post metal for a highway that's, you know, an inch thick. You know, this is mills thick metal, real thin, so it deviates with that heat. So can it be done? 100%. I'm just saying it's a lot tedious process. You'll have 25 hours, 30 hours in the door. We done did it, completely rebuilding the door that was rotted out or damaged in certain places. But then we found out that certain people, even with the donk parts, they don't make new doors. You could find parts, resellers that have rust-free doors, and that's the best way for me. I'd rather buy the part. It's gonna save the customer, it's gonna save us time. We're gonna be able to get your car back to you a lot faster and with more money in your pocket. This is the best example to me. Certain vehicles, as I said before, it's such a coveted car. It's millions of people that's building that car. Companies will remake parts for certain cars because they know the money's there. We're doing a 86 T-Top SS Monte Carlo for my guy that you guys seen a lot here on our videos. And his doors were bad. And this is just what we could see that's ate up that we know we would have to make pieces for. And then once you go to stripping it to the metal, you know, you never know how much more you could find, but to cut it out, to treat the metal on the back side of this, because if it's rusted this bad, it's surface rust on the internal part of this. And some of these angles you necessarily can't get to clean. You could just clean it to the best of your ability. So when you have an opportunity to, one, buy a part that is rust-free, whether it's a you know, a repop, or you know, or a actual original door that was taken off a car that was salvaged, it's better to buy the door than try to fix it, because it's gonna save you guys money. When we have an opportunity to get doors in, you know, or a car in that we could buy Tray 5, which is a 55 through 57 Chevy, Rick Ross coveted car. That's a car you could build from all brand new sheet metal. A 64 Impala, Ice Cube. That's a car you could build from Friday and Menace to Society, 63 and 64. Those cars you could build complete, every part from sheet metal, because companies make it because they know it's that many people that love these cars. You know, very popular. 70, the donks that we do here, a lot of them, they don't. You gotta find parts guys. So that's what makes parts guys available. People that find these cars and just sell them in parts. You know, not to go too off on a tangent, let's get back to what we're doing. We're giving my dog with the Monte Carlo some love. His doors came in, they actually make, yep. Oh wow, it's pretty heavy too. Oh wow, that's nice. Look at that. Stan, could you let them know the people what is the strict order what we doing? I like what he told me earlier. He said, Vic, man, we gonna check it out, put it back in the box, take it inside, put it up.
Ain't gonna leave it out at all.
I'm gonna just stand it right here and look at the back side of it just to show them. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that, that's nice. So, it's going, you know, the better part and product you start with, the better finish you're gonna have on your build, you know. So his door was bad, you know, the hinges was bad, it's not lining up. The hinges and the fitment of the door to the car has nothing to do with the door. Slightly, if this is rotted out, it can make the hinge perform incorrectly. But most of the stuff that's wrong with his door open and closing, he got a bad hinge and he got bad strikers and a bad latch. So if you make all of that stuff new, it's gonna shut exactly how it did when you bought it from the factory. This is giving you a better product when you're dealing with rust, and it's gonna save you money. If he paid $1,500 for both of these doors brand new, he would have had $2,000 minimal in that door fixing it. And you still don't have a 100%, all of this stuff is coated, you know, every inch of it is zero rust. You'll never be able to say nothing about like that door unless you spend ample that, because now you gotta open up the whole shell to get access to the stuff you're blocked from, and then weld everything back together. So get us, we got the metal guys, but you guys can go online and do your research. There's people that sell them. We do have a metal supplier here, so if you do need doors, we can get them drop shipped to you. If you need us to do, see, a lot of time, it's not about everybody can hit enter on the computer. A lot of times it's the research of finding the best product, and we're gonna kind of give you that on the T-top. Matter of fact, let me take you guys over here to the car that we bought these doors from. This is the 86, it's a true SS Monte Carlo. If you guys know this car, we welded up, made a plate, welded up the evap hole. We're gonna do the vintage air AC in it. We stripped everything to metal to make sure, one, is no more rust. If you guys remember this car, we did a brand new floor in it. They do make a floor pan for it. It's really for El Camino, so 90% of it will be used. The back half of the floor pan is different, so you cut that off. Also in the beginning, when we first got it and we took the car apart, stripped it, we noticed a lot of rust that was building up in here. So we repaired the rust, you know. We did all of the floor, we stripped the complete floor, the trunk, found all of the rust. We did little mini tubs on it to kind of fit the wheels that he got. So we assumed that, you know, most of the rust work was done, and now we're going to paint phase, you know, part 2. And doing all the body work, the first thing we do with a car, we strip everything to metal, you know, every inch of it, depending on the customer's bill. If I charge you, because the way we strip it, we're not using sand. We don't want to warp panels. We don't want to, you know, take too much metal off by using too much of an abrasive tool that's going to dig and eat up the metal. So we have techniques that we use, wire wheels and things like that, to kind of get it off the right way, nice and clean all the way through. So my initial charge to a customer of body work when we strip it to the metal, that's everything on the exterior of the car as well as all of your jams. So we're gonna do that. But for instance, firewall, for me to prep your firewall to paint it, body working and all of that, that's additional beyond a paint job. That's an add-on, if you will say. Radiator support, add-on, wheel wells, all that's an add-on. That's not included in the typical paint job, but your cowl is. I'm gonna strip your cowl because we're gonna paint all of that. You know, I love to take the windshields out to get all of the paint behind it, and then you met our windshield guy, we'll put it in like it's brand new from the factory. So, you know, but once we got to the car and Stan the man started to strip the car to prep it for paint, we ran into an issue. We never took the T-tops off. And I know my big brother Lofton voice in the back of my head is saying, Vic, the car been there for 6 months. How do you just find this? And it's like, bro, we're building cars. We're starting at one phase and going to the next, you know what I'm saying? So we just got to the T-top section on this car and, you know, had no idea it was this bad. But, you know, God be the glory, this is another car that they make aftermarket parts for. So we ordered, they make a header panel piece for it here. They make all of the T-top sheet metal new. They make the rear part of the trunk, and they make your A-pillars as well complete, which is very important because it wraps around underneath the brace for all of this, you know, and all of that's rotted out. So it's gonna come with everything, you know, like if you see all of the stuff here that's rotted out, all of that stuff will be brand new. What they haven't came out with is the structural support for the T-top underneath. you know, it doesn't look as if it's rotted out. So once we separate this top piece, it's gonna expose that, and then we'll just prep it. We gotta strip all of the rust, prime protective, you know, epoxy everything in there, and before we even weld the new pieces back on. And then it's fitment. You got to put the T-top back on. Don't just weld and think you know, whoever were the best artist is in the world, you know, sometimes you got to channel check, take that original piece, put the brackets back on it, tighten it down, make sure it's square and level all the way around until, you know, besides doing all the work, and when you latch it down, it's lift up because the metal ain't necessarily in the perfect position. You know, like they say, measure 5 times and cut once, or measure 5 times and weld once. So make sure you get that right. So we got it all, we got it coming along, you know, nice. I didn't want to find this out for my guy, but I'm so glad this is done, because now they have the parts for it. It's not a real, it's time going to be involved, but we don't have to manufacture the piece. See, that's another charge. For me to do rust repair on your piece is one thing. What if they don't have the piece that need to be replaced? Now Mr. Stan over there got to manufacture that piece. And Mr. Stan manufacturing that piece is gonna be exactly what it needs to be. It's just gonna take Mr. Stan triple the time, quadruple the time, because we're not a CNC machine, or we're not a stamp press that's making it, you know what I'm saying? So that's the, you know, the difference is the fight that you're running to building these cars. So, but I'm gonna show you guys real quick on our car what we were hoping for. This is what we were hoping for when we stripped doors to the metal going to paint. You know, you gotta make sure that the, you know, are we gonna use this door or not, you know? So everything was stripped, all of the metal looks great, you know, and we even went extra and did, this is another upcharge, like the back side of the doors. Like nobody's gonna see this, we're gonna clean it. Number one, we wanna make sure there's no rust there. And once it get clean enough, because we're not gonna see this, we're still gonna paint it, you know, disassemble the doors, make sure it's no rust. That looks real good, real clean. Same thing, door jamb on the actual door. This is door jamb on the actual car. So everything was stripped. If we put a light on that, it looked like aluminum foil all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. You know, everything up to make sure, one, there's no rust, and we have an excellent foundation to start our paint process on. We will, you know, epoxy everything. Epoxy is the director metal that protects the metal, just like etching primer. You know, etching primer just requires you to do an extra step, because now you got to go back and sand it if you do any body work. Epoxy, you could put Bondo right to it, so it kind of saves your time. But yeah, man, this is what we're looking for. So this you know, sometimes you investigate and you'll find things you don't want, and then sometimes you'll strip it. And even though you stripped it, we don't have to do any metal work. It's still a great foundation to build on this paint process. So this is phase 2 with both of these cars. This is another example of preferring to buy a part rust-free versus in fixing it. Now, this trunk lid, we couldn't find a good clean trunk lid for it. So what we did, we knew it was rusted at the bottom, but I told him I wanted to strip the inside of the trunk lid because it had surface rust down at the front. So we stripped everything and it wasn't ate out. So we looked on the inside of it. You don't see any surface rust. Like, I'm gonna show you surface rust on that 75 trunk lid. I'm gonna show you guys that. None of the internal panels that you can't get to had surface rust on it. So we know what happened was things got inside at the bottom and settled. Dirt, leaves, debris, and now it's not draining. So it's holding the water in, and that's why I made it rust, but everything else was pretty clean. So we cut it out, backside made a piece, front side made a piece on both. But you know, this guy got 30 hours in the hood that we probably could have found for $600. You know what I'm saying? So, but trying to move forward with the project, we needed to go ahead and get one done. And we were seeing, he was willing to buy a whole car, but the stuff that was out there versus what they wanted, like a good car that's rust-free, you're gonna pay $10,000 for it. Like, it don't make sense, you know what I'm saying, to do that. You might well use that car. That car was a building car, not using parts. So You know, we just made, he did find a hood, so both of these are his hood here. The one in the front is rust free pretty much, so we'll strip that and use it. The one behind it was ate up pretty bad. So this is his old bumper cover here, plastic, warped. We got a new one on the inside that's in, you know, excellent condition. So these are Lofton wheel wells. We got them on the car, we fitted them up, everything. So we sent them out to get them, you know, blasted. You know, I like to send stuff out to get blasted because, like, once again, a lot of this stuff adds up, guys. When those guys send those high numbers for those cars, they're not telling you a lie. Like little things like this, it'll take us a whole day to strip all of this stuff by hand, and it'll be perfect. But I could send it out to my blasters and get them to blast it for 1/3 of the price to help my customer out. So it's not all the way about making the most money. It's about being efficient as well. You know, like we don't want to spend 3 days on something that we can get done in 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? So, but when we stripped it, we did see a little bit of rust here on the outside. That's very minor. It's a flat piece that we would just make, stand to cut that out and make it. And then you see a little bit here. Well, this is a previous repair that was done before us. We'll probably just make those look better. But it's going to paint. So all of these holes where factory pieces was that was actually screwed into the wheel well, we'll weld those up where to be a, you know, nice smooth finish. And yeah, so Lofton good, man. Yeah, like I'm very proud of my guys with the body work and stuff that was done to, you know, assure that that car was looking great. Like the car, the lines on it, the body line, everything is very nice. I can't wait for you guys to see it at a show. We're trying to make Rick Ross Car Show, you know, and make a real big impact as that this year. So we rocking and rolling. It should be down to Joy, probably at the beginning of next month to get the interior in. We're waiting for the wire harness to get in where we can wire it up. We got the fuel, we'll deal an air motive coming soon. Fuel pumps, all of that. We got a real big video coming up about that, the new style fuel pump that we're using in the Caddy and in Lofton car, you know, all of the filters and everything we're doing, you know, 10 and, you know, 10 A&N fitting fuel line, big boy fuel line, you know what I mean, that's coming. So it'll be a nice setup, you know what I mean, but we coming along, guys. Stay tuned. VTSV Auto. I got my guys here. We ain't slowing down. We're speeding up. 2025. Let's go.